it's finally Friday, Jasiri. Oh, thank you, ladies. I can't call you what I really call you, but I love you all. But everyone, I'm back like I never left. Yes. Her. And that's on period. Anyway, I enjoyed my time away, but thank you. I miss you girls so much. I know I could have come on Monday, but because I just couldn't wait, I had to be here for my girls. So I'm here for you girls.
We're glad to have you back.
Thank you. Anyway.
I'm formally meet Lola.
Oh, hi. We've been such a sisterhood. Yeah. Yeah, totally. This week has been, it has different meanings for everyone. For some of us, it's stretched and tested, while for some of us, it's really just vibes and inshallah. But whatever side of the coin you stand, we are all here standing tall at the end of the finish line. Yes, because the weekend is finally here. And what better way to step into the weekend than by unpacking some of the stories that had everybody talking this week. So this morning, let's shake off the stress a little, lean into my holiday vibes, maybe your own weekend vibes, and take a deep dive into some of the biggest, boldest, and spiciest hot topics of the week that you miss. So you know how we do it here on Jasiri. But first.
What's first?
First hour.
Icebreaker.
Yeah.
I'm
Plus
on
small chops.
I'm on Lolo's frequency.
She's so cute, I'll be sipping off a beauty.
Now, okay, this one is an interesting one. From checking seat belts to controlling speed, the Federal Road Safety Corps has always been about, of course, order on the highway. But now, there seems to be a new twist on the wheel. The Court Marshal, Shehu Mohammed, has announced that the FRSC officers could soon be carrying guns on the road. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but he explains that this is to protect officials while on duty, following the increasing number of casualties the Corps recorded during the road operations. The announcement has set off a heated debate, with people asking questions like, will arming road safety officers mean more protection on our roads, or more fear in the hearts of Nigerians? And so we took to the streets. Jasiri went to the streets to hear directly from the people on how they feel about this announcement. And this is what they had to say. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jasiri on the streets.
Booyaka.
Does not give them gun. Does not give them because let them make use of the one they have. Out of they have civil defense, they have policemen. Let them make use of the one they have. So giving road safety gun is not ideal.
Yeah, to me it's a good move to arm them with guns because themselves they need security as well. We all know the situation of things in the country now. There might be in some places where kidnappers or something, insurgents will happen, they need to defend themselves with guns.
I really don't think they should allow them because it's dangerous. We have a lot of guns out already. And even with the government officials or government people like police that they're even using guns, there are cases of them shooting wrong people and all of that. So I feel like it's dangerous.
I don't think that's good. I don't think. Because they will misuse the opportunity. They will start using it to, just like what happened at Toge the other time. As soon as they not give them now, they'll be harassing people with it.
But they do not need gun. The best for that is to just to focus on the road that they are maintaining. Let them focus on the road so that the road will be safe.
They will be bringing a lot of confusion because any other bus which is going, they will use the gun to attack him, and which is not belongs to them before.
It makes the road safer. To me, it makes the road safer. However, like I said before, they should be guided on the use and also teach them how to use them. Not that one day you just wake up and say the road safety officer made a mistake and then they kill somebody with gun.
It will be more dangerous because look at all these Agbero guys that they are always very, very, they're always very aggressive sometimes. So them trying to relate with the road safety people, the officials, with carrying guns already, I feel like it's dangerous.
More dangerous, not safer. Dangerous, to be very, very dangerous.
I've heard the counter between them and some men in transportation, but me, I've never had any issue with them.
Yes, I think that was it last week? Yes, last week. They had to like stop my bus. I was going to somewhere very important on the island, and they stopped my bus. They were like, oh, they've caught this same man. He has been caught in the morning that he offended or he caused an offense or something, that he's still carrying that bus on the road. So they had to stop him, and every passenger in the bus were asked to come down, and we had to trek to the next bus stop, which is a lot of journey. Like we have to trek there to go and enter another bus.
No, but with the way they operate, I can see. They are not always nice.
In fact, I will not accept. The best thing for them is to just focus on the road and make the road free.
They should not give them gun because they are not using gun from the beginning. If they are using gun from the beginning, they can give them gun. If they saw people traveling from one state to another state, when they tell them to stop, maybe some people are so busy, they will be using that gun to be threatening them.
Yes, with my encounter, the ones I work with, they're highly responsible people, and they can use this gun well if we're guided.
I reject it. Totally reject it.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm just I'm bothered because we're already discussing how police officers who have the rights to carry gun are causing mayhem on our streets. We have a lot of, accidental discharges here and there or abuse of power, and that's because people fear them because they carry arms. But road safety corps members are supposed to just guide our roads, make sure that maybe your car papers are safe. I'm wondering why they need maybe lethal force to be able to protect themselves to that point. Because I want to hear, they said there have been many incidences. I want to know what has been happening. Because they can't just give us an omnibus reason. Oh, maybe we are journalists and we'll talk about almost everything on this table. So I can hardly say, I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm just saying I do not know how often that they'll say an FRSC member, an FRSC corps member was shot or something that unalived the person happened. Because they can't just say, oh, they want to, so you want to add more menace to our roads. We're still trying very hard to curb the excesses of the police force, and we have not succeeded. Now we want to add more people to the mix. Is it that they want everybody? Then maybe they should just generally do, you can carry gun if you apply for it. And everybody has permission to. And imagine the kind of mayhem that will be on our hands in this Nigeria. Police added to FRSC. And if this happens, you'll be very sure that soon VIO will carry guns too. Because everybody, Lawma, LASMA, what other agency of government will we have to finger that everybody will not need to carry gun? If in Nigeria that we are still trying to be sure whether stun gun is part of lethal weapon or not, or you can carry or pepper spray that is supposed to be easy, they are still saying, okay, it's... let me drink tea.
Is it illegal?
What's illegal?
Does everybody have the right to have pepper spray?
No. I don't think they said it's part of it. It is an issue.
No, it is?
Of course.
It is an issue.
It's an issue. I remember when we talked about the FRSC issue, when we're talking about them not giving clarity. Because pepper spray was still one of the things that they talked about in that there. I know we talked about that law.
Yeah, we're saying that there were gray areas.
Gray areas.
It's not subject to interpretation by your attorney or by anyone who can prove, like Lola would always say, beyond reasonable doubt, that this is there's a possibility that, yes, this is not certain on 100%. So now, if different agencies are given the right, because ultimately it's going to be like a ripple effect. Now, it's going to the FRSC. We all know that these officers can be trigger happy, and when they're trigger happy, none of them have been brought to book. None of them has been held accountable. So now I'm almost throwing Lola's line, but we need to know what are the indices that surround this. What is it that led to the FRSC, Federal Road Safety Commission? Do they need guns? Do they absolutely need guns?
You know, it makes me wonder how the citizens themselves are expected to protect themselves if they cannot carry tasers and if they cannot carry pepper spray. At least we're not even talking about guns, right? And then we hear this, and I'm actually of the opinion that the FRSC do not need guns? What is their job? What is their mandate? They're meant to, make sure that there's traffic flow, protect cars. It has to do with cars, all right? So what is the problem? Why do they even need guns? Who are they after? Are they NAFDAC? Because I know NAFDAC carry guns as well. Are they the police? If while they're on duty and they realize or they come across an incident, exactly, they can call for backup from, they should be able to collaborate with all these other agencies. And then have you driven and seen the FRSC in front of you? When you're driving and you see them and you know that you have incomplete papers, you're scared. They're scary as it is already. Just seeing them, you're already, your heart skips a bit and you already feel like you're going to be caught. So why do you need to add more tension, more ammunition, on how scary they are?
Yeah, I feel how are the agencies in South Africa? I mean, do they work like? Because it seems as if we are blurring the lines and we don't know which agency should carry what. And that, for example, should be separated. How is it?
I agree that it should be separate because I think the first question, before I answer you, the first question I was going to ask Darshan is...
you started again.
I'll call her Dash.
I love it.
That I was going to ask was, I think, when you decide that you want to escalate something or add more support to something, I think there has to be a spot or a place where you sit down and you assess how they've been doing so far, when it comes to the roads, we can have an open and blank conversation and say, how have they been doing so far? And for me, I've not been very pleased. I think the other day when we had our guest, we spoke about that dead man that was on the road for 2 days. A dead body lay on a highway for 2 days. And if you are telling me that you are the law enforcement that is in charge of making sure that the roads make sense, before you look for guns, let's just make sure that the community is okay, they feel safe. From a constitution standpoint and a humanitarian kind of standpoint, when has it ever been okay? And you know for a fact that they passed there because as you make that U-turn, they are there to ask you anything for the boys. So why didn't the boys come up, say,
the traffic officer there,
you know what I'm trying to say? So, I mean, in South Africa, it is a bit different, but we do have road safety, which is what we call the metro. We've got the metro police, which have got the responsibility of making sure that you are not driving under the influence. We call them license discs. Your license discs are in order. You're driving with a license. The car is roadworthy. And that's a different conversation for Nigeria, maybe when I come back.
But that is actually their job as well. So why do they need guns as well?
Yes, because if you're checking, is this worthy to be on the road? I don't need to be carrying a rifle to get you to understand that your car is not roadworthy. If your papers are not in order, I don't need to have a gun. So I think one of the opinions that came on the street is that it is going to fuel more intimidation. They're intimidating enough as it is because they never come to your car very polite. So if you come at my car now, if you are a Kathy or even a Lolo, if you come at me already left, even me, I'll go left. So when you pull out a gun now,
we understand that, sometimes they come across some unruly people on the road, but I don't think that necessarily need guns. And have you seen where the road safety officials are in a speed, what do you call it, Grand Prix, chasing, drivers, and in so many cases, causing accidents as well, and deaths. What have you done about that? Why do you need guns? In other climes, yes, some agencies who, do not have the license to carry guns, they're given, sticks or batons, just in case, you need to de-escalate something. So why do you, let's start with that as first.
Or even the ones with the rubber bullets. There are guns that release rubber bullets.
Exactly.
It injures you, but it does not kill you.
Or even tasers and the pepper spray as well. So why do you need guns? Too many guns going around.
And if you're going to even do this, they have to do it because it's an agency of state. That means they have to change some of the laws to allow and put
They'll
this
create
in.
a committee as well.
Even the training though, before you issue out the guns, is there going to be training?
Money must be made. Money must go because they will have to change the law to add to the fact
taxpayers' money.
They will have to add, and they are collecting a lot of money and tax these days.
And we're going to be taxed some more next year as well.
They need to put the taxpayers' money to judicious use. So they will now have to train them. probably bring people from abroad because some of the guns they might be bringing might be new age guns that has never been seen even by police.
So they have to now train
them.
It's
and by the time you might have to change their uniform and give
6
them
months, even to 1 year onboarding.
honestly.
And if you look at it, so the people who actually complained are those officers who want to instill dominance on the roads. Those that, you know, probably because when they stop a car and they try to talk to people, the people are like, I know my rights. Tell me, why are you stopping me? I have my papers. And they can't get anything off that person.
That's happened to me before.
Very sure.
They'll come to God and say, where is your paper?
So
are they going to criminalize the fact that
it gives them more power?
Yeah.
If you don't stop, I'm going to kill you here. Nothing will happen.
We're not going to kill you here. Dash and take us.
We'll take a break. When we come back, the show continues. Stay with us.
Jasiri, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you join us this Friday. It's Hot Topics Friday, and we've got more stories to dig into. Coming up next, popular content creator Mandy Kiss, once known for her controversial lifestyle choices, has made it to our Hot Topics today. Mandy has now been appointed as an ambassador for Lagos State's anti-drug campaign. Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Mobolaji Ogunlede, who made the appointment, openly defended the decision. And this is what he said.
Expected to happen today, but as God has designed it, we're here with Mandy Kiss, and you know, she's actually agreed to become one of our Lascada brand ambassadors. Lascada, Lagos State Kicks Against Drug Abuse. Drugs is a pandemic that is hitting our streets. It is a pandemic that is hitting our society. It is a pandemic that is hitting our community. The government cannot fight it alone. We must work in collaboration with those that can reach as many people as possible. And we know Mandy Kiss has a large followership, 402,000, if I remember quite clearly. And, you know, we've had conversations and we're trying to do things differently. Everybody has a past. Nobody's perfect. But again, as a brand ambassador to Lagos State Kicks Against Drug Abuse, we hope Mandy Kiss will be able to reach the nooks and crannies, you know, of Lagos to assist us in fighting this pandemic. So the powers conferred on me, make her one of our brand ambassadors. So, say no to drugs.
All right. So while some people, perhaps Mandy herself, may see this as a bold example of turning one story into a platform for change, others say it raises uncomfortable questions about who we choose as role models in our country. Lola, I heard that. Now, let's circle back to how we got here in the first place. Content creator Ayomi Osi Oluwadunsi, popularly known as Mandy Kiss, first shocked many Nigerians when she announced a plan to engage in sexual activity with 100 men in 24 hours, claiming she wanted to break a Guinness World Record. She scheduled the attempt for the 30th of October 2025 in Ikorodu, Lagos. The Guinness World Record swiftly responded to her, stating, and I quote, "This is not a record we monitor," end of quote. They also rejected the application, clarifying that such a feat isn't something they recognize or they document.
Well, Mandy Kiss, however, initially refused to back down, and in a video response, she said that even if Guinness World Record will not validate it, that she would go ahead and document it herself, stressing her autonomy over her body and asserting that no one could stop her. So the public outcry, you know, was very swift and loud, and even included the Oba of her state, Oba Akintunde Akinyemi. That's the Iselu of Iselu, I don't know if I got it right, Iselu Kingdom in Ogun State, who openly petitioned the Lagos State government to have her arrested and tested for drugs. So in his words, I quote, "It is disheartening to see a Yoruba girl from my dear state, Ogun State, planning to embarrass herself and her parents, local government area and state before the entire world by her readiness to have sex with 100 boys or men, boys to men, within 24 hours. Now, the best approach is to arrest the lady who currently constitutes a public nuisance. Lagos State should also invite the NDLEA to extend an invitation to Mandy Mandy Kiss for a drug test because the arrant nonsense she's doing is really showing that she may be under the influence of drugs. End of quote. So eventually, after the backlash, Mandy retracted the announcement. She claimed that it had never been serious but was merely a stunt to boost engagement. And here is what Mandy had to say.
I just a cash cruise ni. Èmi ní pé kíkọ wo bóyá mo ṣì lógo ni. Pàtí gbogbo ẹ̀ kàn dá pààrọ̀ mo kàn wò pé bóyá kí n tún ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ bóyá màá rí engagement lórí page ni mo ní di advert àti jà tí mo lè mi ń bá káàkiri.
And now, weeks into this controversy, she has been appointed an ambassador for Lagos State's Kick Against Drug Abuse campaign, with Commissioner Ogunlende saying the state hopes that she can use her influence to reach young people and help fight drug abuse. Now let's take reactions before we come back to the table, because I know we have so much to say. So we have someone here, Jen Osahan, saying without offering any form of practical support, no therapist to help her. You people appointed her as a brand ambassador. She is only going to quit smoking publicly. I am the Tommy says you'll see that she won't go back to her smoking and all that nonsense anymore. A lot of people who work addicts in the Western world were also former addicts.
Awesome way to reorient our youth against social vices. You may not see the difference here, and it's based on your level of awareness in the social ecosystem. As a mental health practitioner, I got the statistics of mental ill youth, which was as a result of drug abuse. My commissioner, sir, the advocacy and awareness continues. Leave no one behind. Akim Badamosi. Well done, Mr. Commissioner, for your efforts. However, I'm not sure it's okay to celebrate bad behavior in any format or under any guise. I understand what you're trying to do, trying to use a virus to fight a virus. Even if you're going to use the victim to educate other victims, let her go through a process of repentance, rehabilitation, and re-evaluation. Then, and only then, can she be fit to champion a campaign about what held her bound. Finally, this move does not move kids away from drugs. It only validates the bad behavior is rewarded if you shout enough. Come in peace. One question is, do you really understand the word ambassador?
Thank you very much.
Because if you do, then you will know and understand that this your Mandy is not in the right position, physically, mentally, or intellectually, to be your ambassador. If you do really love her, what you have done, what you should have done, or what you would have done, is to take her to rehab. I rest my case here.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't bear to watch the video with the shame I am feeling with this. I mean, out of all the youths making impacts in this country, you choose who as ambassador. There was really a country, and this is from Restoring Women's Confidence.
Okay.
Lolo?
What was it?
No,
it's tired.
honestly, I can't lie to you. Yeah. There's some of these things I watch that brings me to tears. You know how I feel about the girl child. Look at this young lady, obviously screaming for help. You are not even talking about a process you have taken us through. That is because I understand what rehabilitation means. We have discussed with an ex-drug addict on this table. We know how hard it is for rehabilitating you from drug use or drug abuse. You need to take her through that process first before we even talk about her becoming a light for others to follow. I am wondering where they make these decisions. Are you not telling me that 20 girls and youth will not come out and act so extremely crazy? No. And once they act extremely crazy, they know somebody is going to tell them, okay, come, let's make you more visible. I am always an advocate of censoring social media because the things that we see on the streets of social media, it's disheartening, and it's women. Unfortunately, I've said it in one place on another platform that women are the most vulgar now online. They say all sorts of things. This young lady which I know has potential and a future, if properly
catered
for.
Yeah.
We need to see her work. She didn't come to them that, oh, I want to be rehabilitated.
Yeah.
So I won't say this is an intervention. You know what an intervention is like? When you need to forcibly say, okay, you need to change, or she needs to make a decision first. You need to see that, oh, she's going through rehabilitation.
Pretty much what exactly.
That other tweet said. Then we see that, oh, she has come off some of this drug use. She has changed her ways. This is the process that people need to see. So maybe the reward can come at the end of it. Like, see what she has gone through in the past 2 years. She's back in school, she's doing well. Then the youth can say, oh, I focus on this. But trust me, the avalanche we're going to see after this, youth will nearly tear themselves naked and say, yes, I'm a crazy person, come for me. And if it can happen for Mandy Kiss, please, they will even tag the Oba of their state, say, I'm going to be bathing naked outside my house every day. Come on, I have rights to my body. Honestly, I'm close to tears because I like the commissioner for youth. I think I met him once. But I am wondering why we're so quick. I know he probably has a good intention, but I don't think this is the way to do it. You can't walk us back. And that's what I don't like. We can't start from ambassador that will not take her to rehabilitation.
Well, we always say on this table, and thank you, Lolo, you've been most vocal about it, that we usually put the cart for the horse.
100.
So this is the same thing. You're pretty much echoing the reactions that we saw, that we took. And why are you putting the cart before the horse? Have you established, first of all, that she's on drugs? Have you established, has she gone to see a therapist? What has the process been? You don't just pluck somebody off of the streets of social media and put her in front like this is the poster child for the war against drug abuse. And then, I think is the use of social media gone wrong. You want to use social media to your advantage, but you're not quite, savvy in doing that. And so it's looking, it's lost in translation for me.
Totally, Catherine. Totally. I don't even have the English. I'm so close to tears. I don't have the English for the things that they are doing. They are endorsing this behavior. They are validating it. They are saying it's okay. Well, what can we say? If terrorists that are killing people can get amnesty, if bandits can say they want mosque, they want hospital built
FRSC
for them.
I want to believe the whole idea of them making her an ambassador is so that the whole behavior that you're talking about stops.
How does it stop?
Stops, even if it's online or not. So I think it's a way for them to use a vice to stop a vice.
What does that make sense? So you're telling me that she's not truly rehabilitated. What she needs to do is just not smoke publicly. But that doesn't mean her as a person, her life is getting better. No. We can't just do it for social media validation. Oh, make sure they don't catch you with drugs.
That is what a lot of people or influencers actually do. They come out on social media and they fake it. Meanwhile, in their personal spaces, it's different.
No, but I beg to differ. I don't want to say anything because
but you should because I
when you say you beg to differ,
I beg to differ with what Darshan said, to say, okay, you are the brand ambassador and then you need to stop it. Hey, that entire thing traumatized me. I wasn't going to say anything because I'm just like, what in the actual Mary and Joseph? Because outside of her being on drugs, I don't know whether she is or whether she's not, but in the video that we saw with the uncut wig and all of that,
looks like
you look very inebriated. Whatever it is that you are on it. Now, God, there has to be, not even just when it comes to the brands that we work with, like the Nikes and whatnot and stuff, even when it comes to Nigeria, even when it comes to Lagos, even when it comes to whatever it is, let's tell ourselves the truth, guys, because our children are watching, right? And outside of our children watching, if you decide today that you want to be a brand ambassador for Nike, there is a criteria that you have to meet before you can do that, right? Many a times there has been behaviors. I'll make an example. There was a guy in South Africa that was a presenter for SABC, which is a news station. Yeah. And he was doing there was a breakfast show that was on SABC. He cheated on his wife. And all his endorsements pulled out because they said we don't condone this kind of behavior. This behavior does not align with our brand. And because of that, the endorsements pulled back. If you remember years ago, there was that the athlete Oscar Pistorius, the paraplegic. He was, now he was found guilty of shooting his girlfriend. At the time, he had many endorsements, and they said because we don't condone this behavior, even before he was found guilty, the endorsements and the partnerships pulled out. Do you understand? So if you are Lagos, you are the head of or the face of something that speaks to Lagos, whether it is youth, whether it is drugs or whatever. I personally believe in my time in Nigeria, even in my time in SA, where we look at, because you guys don't understand how influential Nigeria is. I don't know if people have come to understand just how influential it is internationally, also in Nigeria. If you are at a point in your ecosystem and government where you want to assign people to be brand ambassadors, there has to be a criteria. There are many faces, public figures that are internationally, that are Nigerian, the diaspora. If you cannot find someone in Nigeria, go to the diaspora, Look at somebody who was once a substance abuser. Look at what he has done with his life. And then come back and say, can you tell your story? And then you make him the brand ambassador. Don't look for someone that still looks like a junkie, embodies the behavior of a junkie, and say, you know what? Because in what you said if we give her this ambassadorship, then she will stop it. I'm not going to reward you for that.
You see, that's the thing. But because we've seen that happen, during Pam 1
that's what I was going to say.
2.
That's not like a drug situation.
No. I get what Dasha is saying, because in Nigeria, what she has described is it's a utopic state, and that does not exist in Nigeria. Everything you have said should be the norm. But here, we tend to curve and bend the laws a little bit just to suit us. Sometimes you have a checklist of 10 things. People don't even meet 3.
Looking at it. Lolo, let's look at it this way. Now, this story has gone controversial. It has, a lot of people have heard about it. A lot of people are talking about it. Exactly. So the whole idea, I think, is, they're using the idea of any publicity is also publicity, just to push the anti-drug message, right? And I'm saying this because how many, if they are taking a low-profile person, someone you did not know, will they actually send the message? So they decided to go controversial. And I think the Lagos State government, how many anti-drug messages actually reaches the intended, people? What they're saying now is, okay, so since you have so many followers, and for you to follow a person like Mandy Kiss, but you must be towing the same line.
But this is my problem.
If her message can actually get to 1 in 10 young people, who would actually rethink and say,
that she has rethought it.
That's what they're saying.
That's not how this works.
Even me, I don't do
professionals in here.
Because I'm saying I don't agree with it.
Because we understand she needs to work with professionals as well. Yes.
Because the reality is, Dash, let's take a look at it, right? I hear what you were saying. First of all, you are looking at the followership. It's not clickbait. Because now what you're basically, or what it looks like, not really what you're saying, is that Lagos State looked at her following and they said we can reach people here. Yes. But now my question is, people like in terms of reach, because if you're making, like what one of the tweets said, do you understand what an ambassador is? Yes. If you send someone from Nigeria to the US and you say you are the ambassador, you are the representation of Nigeria.
Has gone out.
You're looking for field. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
So they're saying it's not working. They've been doing this and it's not working. So many youths are still into drugs. How about we use someone? A drug is drug. So
telling me she's an ambassador. Rather they said, we're choosing Mandy Kiss to go through a process we want everybody to follow her on this journey.
No, we don't want
to even follow her on the journey.
That we want to see her rehabilitated. So we're picking her, we're starting a reality show where we're starting her on therapy, on this, on that. We want to follow the journey. So in 1 year, by the time she finishes, do you know what pressure drug addicts face?
You see,
even putting her publicly can put more pressure on her.
Inam said something. Inam said, is it the followers you're looking at? Sadly, it is the followers that brands look at. Even private companies and private institutions look at your following. Once your numbers are in the millions,
and we talked
everybody
about
feels
this earlier. You remember we talked about
but
we want the followers. We know it's risky and we know that it's morally messy, but
it is a horrible rich. See, and the reason why I have a problem with it is the fact that your colleague, who is the head of state where she's from, put out a public statement and said this girl needs to be assessed. That is your colleague. It's not I'm sitting down and then on Jasiri saying, "Well, later that person check." Your colleague said,
"I'm ambassador."
Come on, Guinness World Records. In terms of embarrassment for Nigeria, Guinness World Record publicly said, "We don't condone this behavior."
They did.
And because we don't condone this behavior, we don't want to be affiliated with that act. And then Nigeria comes and says, "Well,
let's make her
ambassador."
That's what I'm saying. Let's spin it. No one is always saying, "Let's spin it." This is their own way of spinning it. No, we've started to listen and say, let's PR the heck out of it.
Like me, I don't give them a great way to have gone about this. No, they said, okay, you want to make it public, let's start a reality show.
No, but you see, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I'm going to call it. Let's go on a break. Let's go on a break, guys. Let's go on a break. This is Hot Topics Friday on Jasiri. We'll be right back.
Who's side? Holiday Zen back. Anyway, from one controversial to another one.
Yes.
Nollywood veteran Bimbo Akintola has ignited a new conversation on polygamy. In a candid sit-down with Biola Adebayo, the 55-year-old actress declared, and I would quote it, "Polygamy is part of our tradition." End of quote. She recalled how many in the older Yoruba generation grew up in households where men had multiple wives and suggested that today's world, the practice may still make sense. Akintola also shared real-life examples of women who welcomed the idea themselves. One she revealed even arranged a second marriage for her husband. And she said, and I would quote, "With the way the world is going, people should embrace polygamy. You say marriage is everything. So if we don't have enough men according to statistics, does that not mean 2 women to 1 man? I also believe it is part of our tradition. Most Generation X Yorubas, and our parents had 2 to 3 wives. It was something we saw while we were growing up. Maybe we also noticed the disadvantages, but some people say there are also advantages to it. I know some women who would rather have a second wife. I know someone who married as a second wife to her husband so that she could have peace. She married a second wife for her husband so she could have peace. They didn't have the same libido. His was higher than hers. So she thought, this man will kill me. Let me find support. And she went and married Catherine for another husband. Not literally. Just married a woman for her husband. Hey, before we banter, because my excitement is off the roof, let us see what the reactions are in the open space first. Then we'll come back to tear ourselves.
Isaiah 4 verse 1.
Yes, Lord.
And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of 1 man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. This verse describes a future time of distress where women, due to a scarcity of men, I don't know why there's a continuation onto that. Anyway, almost every statistic shows that we actually have more men than women in Nigeria. 1 minute of using Google will have shown her this.
God.
The reason many spinsters struggle, even though men are more, is because they are typically looking for men within a particular class. As the women age, their options become lesser. The shortage of men is most likely due to the fact that majority of the women want a minority of the men. And the younger the woman, the more likely she is to not see any issues with getting any man.
Older women don't suffer.
There's really no shortage of men. What there is a shortage of men willing to marry, in quote, the table. What do I mean by that? Like, what do you bring to the table? I am the table kind of discussion. And on the flip side, there's a shortage of women willing to marry men who don't rock the latest iPhone 17. At the end of the day, polygamy has always been an option, and it will always be one. Let them start by sharing your husband, if you have one. Let your adult boys marry 4. Let your younger brothers marry 4 each. And all your male cousins marry 4 each. Marrying multiple is not the problem with men. The real problem are the women who encourage it and still do everything to make such home unfortunate for men who dare to do such. That's where trusting God and faith comes into our daily human lives. If God says one man, one woman, you better believe it and trust God for your man, even amidst the physical statistics. That's worrisome.
All right, Oya now, tell me the importance of having more than one wife. I value my peace of mind, so if I ever decide to get married, I won't marry more than one wife. And that's from Kate Kingsley.
Okay. Polygamy has always been in existence. That's a fact. And I think it is a truth or a fact that people choose. However, in the now, and putting it on the table for women, would you embrace polygamy? Inam?
So true.
I will throw a very controversial line. It's me they will throw to this time.
I would never.
Do you know what?
You would.
I know it's unchristian. I know because I'm Christian they will say this. But I have always been of the opinion that I would rather have polygamy than have you have a side chick. Let us all come to the marriage and suffer together.
Okay, but you see,
because when you're a side chick, privileges of, you are not home is there. But when we are all wives in the same arena, now the same pot of soup they will share for all of us. Because everybody will have it equally. You won't have as much access to the man like the next wife or the other. So let's all come together, the more the merrier. Huh?
So the reason why you would want to get into a polygamous marriage is such that you are not
I don't want to get into it
and spoil the other lady.
I don't want to get into it for those that want it. I will say that.
Did that even make sense?
You don't understand. If a woman is a mistress outside, it's more, they get so many privileges because they're outside. There's always that novel thing of the grass is greener outside. But when that same lady that has been his side chick for 5 years becomes his legal wife, things change. They experience the same thing that the wife at home has experienced.
That's when you're talking about a man who can be fair to all his wives. Because
I'm not even talking about fair. I want him to bring them home so that they can know how unfair it is amongst.
But do you think that even if a man marries 7 wives, it stops him from going out?
No. I don't care. I want him to keep going out, bringing them home. But let's all be wives.
I mean, there's been talk. Men are polygamous by nature. If a man decides to stay with a woman, it's just choice, discipline, and probably fidelity. And and the man decides to stay. But men would. It's easier to say that because my brothers used to say that thing that men are polygamous by nature. You see a woman, you're attracted to the woman, and they're more primal. So I think they just
like the hunt.
So they just go. So now I think what Bimbo is saying is that there's a shortage of men because as you grow older, as if it's now you find it difficult.
The pool is short.
It goes back to. Wait, I don't think we're ready to have this conversation. Wait, I don't think
Inam has called you that dasher.
I don't wait now.
I like the way Inam is pointing at you.
Are you serious?
The gun is on your head.
I'm waiting for what
All right,
so
I don't think it's a problem of shortage of men or men unwilling to marry, but are the men attracted to the women these days? Because you have so many men who are attracted to themselves, but we're not ready for that conversation, right?
But there's also the conversation, I'm not taking from your mouth, but there's also the conversation that as women age, they cannot that example of the libido thing. They can't, listen, you're not going to kill me. Please don't focus on me, because probably she's losing interest in that. And please don't be disturbing me for that. Let me get somebody for you. And you see some women actually...
Abraham did it too. I can see now that is going on. Abraham did it for Sarah. Sarah did it for Abraham.
No, you don't want to where we are today as our society now. The idea that, most older people think that a lot of women now, millennials, Gen Zs, are even willing to get married surprises me, because we've gone past that. So many women, you ask them,
they don't want to be married.
I don't want to get married. I just want to have my child and settle.
Especially the Gen Zs, though.
Yes.
A lot of these Gen Zs don't want to marry.
They're not ready.
But if they don't want to marry, perhaps they are more open to polygamy, because now it's as if let's have open relationships.
Polygamy,
people are having open relationships.
But that's not polygamy, that's an open relationship.
But isn't that a prelude to polygamy, though?
How is it?
The way everything, the lines have become blurred.
Don't forget there's polyandry as well.
So that's the conversation they don't want to have. They want to have the conversation of polygamy.
I see how your eyes light up.
I know you might think I am not. I'm just saying it from like maybe the drama in my head that is playing. I come from a polygamous home. I know how difficult it was for my mother to be able to balance, the drama that comes with having other wives with your husband. The advantages might be there. Maybe in the olden days where they say, okay, they needed more wives to be able to have more children, to work their farms, and all those funny slave mentality they had about women. But definitely, if you look at it, the nitty-gritty of it, it's so difficult for women to coexist sharing one man.
100%.
But I will still tell them that because of how difficult this situation was, so if you think you want to be a mistress outside, enjoying the privilege of a married man that is starving his family to give you the privileges you want, I want them to bring you into the house. So can I marry you as a wife?
I think getting into the actual supporting or against the yay or nay for polygamy. For me, my own opinion, because I have not given it yet, I've
yes, please you can.
I feel like there's always going to be a contradiction between culture and belief system. There's always going to be that contradiction, because in as much as Lola now wants to tell me about Abraham
and Sarah,
and then Bimbo wants to tell me about forefathers, that's a contradiction there altogether. Because if you want to look at it from a biblical context, which I am, the Bible says, and none shall do what? Lack their mate. It did not say none shall lack their mates.
Mates, one word.
But you know that there are some, when they bring some things together, sometimes they use that adjective to qualify them. Like, is it a bevy of girls?
So you see, that's the problem, because we're having a conversation in the makeup room before we got here, and Blessings made a comment and said the problem with our society is people want to have their cake and they want to eat it too, and this is where the lawlessness comes even from human beings. Do you understand? Human beings, unfortunately, are what the Bible says, they like to gratify their flesh. They don't look at the disciplines and the principles of, I'll say, life. Right? If you are a cultural person, then you will run your life according to culture. If you are a religious individual, then you will run your life based on it, which is why every now and again these kind of conversations become very dicey. If you say you are a believer, but you also still want to embrace culture.
At the point
they don't cohabitate. They do not
at the
cohabitate.
point where we are now, I don't think there's so many people who didn't necessarily have to wait to get married before having other girlfriends.
But you
there are
know
people that
also,
are
there
out there,
people
like the musician in America, Neo.
Yeah.
He has like 5 girlfriends. He's not married to any of them, and he moves around with them, and they all live together.
That's
So
why
I
in
feel-
my language we call that Sangan.
I feel when it comes,
Let's say you the mad for head.
Madness. Because you know where my pain is, sorry to just cut you down. My pain sometimes is not even the men. I'm looking at all 5 of you walking gallantly.
Girlfriends, put the name, sister wives.
Polygamy, that's why we have personal choices, right? I feel as if, it's not right for everyone. If you are the type that, are comfortable with monogamy, then go for it. But polygamy actually works for so many people as well.
But also, do you know that people, not everybody on this God's good earth are destined to marry. Not everybody
They're not ready
is
for that.
destined
You
to
can't
be
tell them that.
father or
You
a
cannot
mother.
tell them that.
No, that is
Yes,
true.
some people-
Because I'm piggybacking off of her conversation, like pick a struggle. If you're going to use culture to lead your life, follow
cultural.
culture. If you want to follow use religion, follow religion. So
But my
we
dad was
need to
Anglican. How do I? That means he was a cultural
Culture, religion.
He was something
religious
there,
man.
which was
Honestly, I look at it and I look at women. You know, there are many decisions I made when I was young from what I could see. I said to myself one day, I said, God, I never want to be the problem another woman faces. Right. I never want to be the one that made another woman cry like my mother would cry secretly when she was just alienated to a corner and she wasn't getting her pride of place. So that's a personal choice. I would never choose polygamy for me.
Yeah. So it is a personal
just
choice.
like I would avoid, not like I can't do it, but I would do my very best to avoid not to be a stepmom either. Though they'll say it's easy. Because based on what I have seen.
Exactly.
But as far as I'm concerned, we need to be open enough to know that just as Inan said, cultural people still believe in polygamy. Yeah. And I don't think we should demonize them. That is their way of life, their system.
No, you said cultural people or religious people.
No, let's say people that believe in culture, not religious. Maybe I will not speak, because religion is not omnibus. Yeah. It breaks into part. But sometimes maybe culture can be from a place, and if people believe that polygamy works for them excellently. I have somebody that told me that her mother and her sister wife were best of friends. She even said to me that
you're fine.
That's why I'm saying that no matter how we talk about something omnibus, there will always be exceptions.
Just find your base.
Just like Catherine said, choose your struggle.
And in most cases, when you marry a billionaire, you know nothing.
My sister.
You say Inam take us. Inam take us.
I'm talking about, he's an Arabian prince. Inam, think of the money. Your own private jet.
What's the one?
But you have Dumza Nongo. What did you say? Let's go home.
What's the one? Namhlanje kwa hot topics at Jasiri. And unfortunately, that's how we wrap up Friday's Hot Topics.
Oh my God.
If I can be fair, I really, really enjoyed my time with you ladies on Jasiri. Lolo, you came in when I was literally I wish you were here because you and I were going to iron.
Back again. You might be back again.
Yep. Yeah.
But let's just...
I need to come back home because Lolo and I have some unfinished business. Ladies and gentlemen, bye. As we step into the weekend, remember, it's not just about the headlines. It's about what they mean for us, our culture, and our future. But most importantly, rest, reset, and recharge. Because come next week, Tolu will be back from Mzansi, which is my country, with the conversation. And the conversations, of course, will continue. And Jasiri will be here, right at the center, and taking up space.
Come here, girl.
Wow, we love you.